We haven't done this team in a while. I've avoided talking about them for a long time because I used to drop a lot of rant videos on Manchester United. I mean, you guys know that. I used to literally drop a rant on Manchester United weekly, daily. It was my just what we did. It was because I'm a Benfica fan, but my favorite team in England is Manchester United. So it's something that I'm passionate about. So I would talk about them a lot. And I haven't because, I felt like I was kind of making people mad, kind of offending a lot of Manchester United fans with my thoughts and with what I talked about. And I didn't want to start coming on videos being like, I told you so. And then Ten Hag got sacked and be like, I told you. Because that's not why I talk about football. I ain't to prove people wrong. It's to literally just give my opinions on stuff. And I want to give my opinion on Manchester United because they're on a little bit of a win streak right now. Ten Hag got sacked. Ruben Amorim is the new manager. A lot of things are looking bright at Manchester United. But this performance was not bright. This performance was the performance that's going to overall kind of not expose, but kind of explain what Manchester United's problem has been for a long time. And I think I've kind of put my finger on what I think it is. So today, Manchester United played against PAOK, I think that's how it's said, a team from Greece, I believe, in the Europa League. And the game is ending right now, but at the moment it's 2-0. The first half was one of the worst first halves of football I've ever seen. And you could see before the game started, I was watching all the pregame stuff, and you could just see the energy in the stadium. The fans were loud. Everyone sees this excitement around Old Trafford right now. You're getting this young manager that seems to be, fantastic, right? A manager that is going to make players want to play for him. The problem with these players at Manchester United are this, and I don't want to disrespect any Manchester United player when I say this, but this is what I feel. The Manchester United players believe in their head that they are better than the situation that they're in. What do I mean by that? Today, Manchester United played like they don't deserve to be in the Europa League. But that's where the club is. That's where these players are. And you have to accept the reality and get yourself out of reality, out of this, make a new reality for yourself. These Manchester United players, the fans were pumping, the stadium was going crazy, the energy was coming from the Van Nistelrooy. Everything seemed like it was right, and then the players start running, and everything seems wrong. It just seems like the players know in their hearts and believe that they're supposed to be in the Champions League. But they're not going to be back in the Champions League unless you get yourself out of this situation. Ruben can't save you. Van Nistelrooy can't save you. They can give you tactics, but if you don't execute their tactics, if you don't give it everything on the field, it's not going to happen. Ahmed, I think that's how you say his name. You could see the passion he was playing with. After the first goal, kissing the badge. The second goal, to steal the ball, to intercept the ball, to take the ball forward by himself, to finesse it into the bottom corner. He played for the badge. He played for the shirt. He played for Manchester United. And yes, managers make a difference. And yes, tactics make a difference. And yes, formations make a difference. And Ruben is going to change this completely for them. But if they don't play in a way where they understand that they need to, they're the one, those 11 players are the only ones that can get Manchester United out of the situation they're in. They're the only players that can get Manchester United into the Champions League. They're wearing this Manchester United shirt like it's the Manchester United shirt, but they're not playing it like it's the Manchester United shirt. They're not, and I don't know if I'm making sense to you right now, but the energy they feel that they bring to each game, it feels to me like the players think that they're better than the competitions that they're playing in. And then they get smacked in the face really quickly by the other team because they feel like because they're Manchester United and because they play for this glorious club, that they're just going to go out there and it's going to be easy. But the facts are teams want to beat you more now than ever because they know you're not the Manchester United you used to be. And they all know and they all feel they have a chance against Manchester United. So United goes out there with this, lackluster energy into these games, and players of the other team are just beating them to every 50-50, and if the players don't start to step up, like today's performance from Garnacho, I love the kid. Garnacho's one of my favorite wingers in all of football after Vinicius Jr. I love Garnacho, dude. The performance he put out today was horrendous. It was a performance that it was just terrible. It couldn't connect a shot, a pass. They couldn't connect on anything he did. And it just doesn't really make sense because this is an ongoing thing at United. Bruno will give you 2 amazing games, then 15 bad games. And you'll see a crazy performance from Rashford and then an off performance for a month. And you're like, what the hell is going on? Why can't they keep their confidence up and their mojo up? And what is happening? And I just think that I'm starting to understand that the players in their head, I think they just think that because it's the Europa League, it's going to come easy or something. And it just feels to me like they feel like they're above certain situations. But the truth is, you know, like, okay, so for example, let's talk about in YouTube sense. There's YouTubers, even myself, that in FIFA, we used to get 300,000-400,000 views a video. Well, in FIFA, the views aren't the same anymore because times have changed. And now video views are around 60 to 100,000. And there's 2 ways you can go about this. You can get really sad that views aren't what they used to be for a lot of YouTubers. And you can get really sad and walk away from it and kind of put your head down and just think about the old days. Or you can pick your head up, grind yourself through a situation and hope that one day the football game and everything will go back one day to what it used to be. And you continue to grind with your head up. You get what I'm saying? And it feels like in United, they're not picking their heads up. They're thinking about the glory days and what they used to be and what United used to stand for. And they're not looking at, okay, how do we get out of there and back to that? And it just feels like, it feels that way to me when I watch them. It feels like a human that had it all, has kind of come down a little bit and doesn't really know how to get back. And it just, the confidence isn't there. And I believe when Ruben gets there, he's going to be able to really give the confidence that these players need. Because there's great players at Manchester United, guys. Let's keep it a stack with each other. Casemiro's not a joke. Bruno Fernandes is not a joke. You know what I mean? These are not joke of players. Varane came through this club. There was amazing players at this club that when they get there, they just look like they look like a shell of themselves. And it's not because they're bad. It's because the situation at United right now is dark for these players. And there needs to be someone that comes in with a vision, with the heart, with the passion to really get these players to believe in themselves, but not only believe in themselves, but believe in the situation they're in. They're in a situation where it's not the glory days. You're not playing in the Champions League. You're not playing for top 5. You're not playing right now. You're not playing for top 3. You're not, you know, when you go into a game against Chelsea and Liverpool, you're not the favorites no more. You're not that, but you can get back to that. And there's the players are there at the club to do it. This team has good players, but the players really need to be babied in a way right now. You know? Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes there's, you know, like for example, for my parents out there, right? Sometimes you know when your kid needs a little bit of hard loving, you know, like a little bit of like, hey man, like you were bad today, man, but tomorrow you could be. And then you know there's days where your kid needs a little bit of that. Hey man, listen. You know, it happens. And the baby them a little bit. And it feels like these United players kind of lost themselves. They need to be babied a little bit. They need to be babied a little bit and then give them the hard love right after. And get them back to what they are and to believe in themselves. Because it really feels like the more I watch this Manchester United, the more I see a team that one day is amazing and the next day they're just terrible. And you could see that everybody at United this Thursday was up for the Europa League, except for the players. They did not want to play. They did not want to play, except for a baby that goes by the name of AMAD, who realizes, I don't care if it's the Europa League. I don't care if it's playing for top 3. I don't care if it's the Champions League. I'm wearing the Manchester United shirt. This is a dream of mine. This is what I want to do. This is what I grew up wanting to do. Play the sport I love. Play for this team. Play for this badge. Play for these fans. Play in this stadium. And he was there. And he was up for it. And he did it. And he did it when no one else on the team really looked like they wanted to. And I just believe that Manchester United can get back to being Manchester United. They really can. But it's going to take more than just uh more than just changes from the top and changes at manager and changes here and changes there. Ten Hag was definitely a problem, in my opinion, and he should have been gone years ago. And the reason I say that is because instead of helping the players, he was getting in fights with players and making players train aside and selling players and getting rid of players. And there was no him helping players. It was him just, hey, you don't go by my rules, you're out of here. You don't play by my rules, you're training by yourself on the side. And that's just not the way. So that's why he had to go. But I don't think that a manager's going to flip this in 1 second. I think it's going to take time. I think Ruben can do it for sure. But Manchester United players need to believe in themselves again. And Manchester United players need to understand that playing in the Europa League is not that bad, man. And trying to get back to where you guys belong, it's not that bad. Enjoy the grind. Enjoy these next couple years of fighting back because you can get there in a year, bro. In a year, you can get there. I'm going to give you guys a little thing real quick. In American football, a lot of y'all might not understand this, but I've been a Washington Commanders fan, okay? We used to be called the Washington Redskins. We changed our name. We sucked for years. Terrible team. Couldn't even make playoffs. Awful team. Haven't been good since the 90s. We get a one player in. We change our coach, a coach that is a player's coach, believes in coaches, believes in players. All players want to play for him. Players love him. Players always talking about him after games, after wins. They're jumping on top of him. They're hugging him. The coach loves him. The players love him, right? Coach of the players. Now, all of a sudden, we've won 7 games and lost 2 this season. We're crazy good. We have an awesome quarterback, and players want to play for the coach. What I'm trying to say to you is sometimes you need a coach that is a player's coach that makes players believe in themselves again. Because we didn't sign a bunch of superstars. We made players that were okay, believe in themselves, and they're playing better than they ever have. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you really, really, really need that. Sometimes you need someone to step in and make these players believe in themselves again. And that's what happened for my American football team. And I'm hoping that's what happens at Manchester United with Ruben, that these players start to believe in themselves again. He brings in a couple players, they adapt to his tactics, and he gets this team back to where they belong. Because United today, even though they won 2-0 or 3-0 or whatever it's going to end, it's 2-0 right now, whatever it ends, you can tell that first 45 minutes, they didn't want to play in the Europa League. They didn't want to play. They didn't look like they didn't want to play at all. But the truth is, it doesn't matter what competition it is, Manchester United. You need to play for the badge and the shirt, no matter what time, what place, where it's at, what stadium. I don't care if there's 2 people watching. You play for Manchester United, represent that badge and that shirt the same way every single game, regardless of Champions League or not.